Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Hey sports fans, are you ready for an exhilarating gaming experience? Introducing VIPclub.lv, your ultimate online sportsbook and casino. VIPclub.lv offers a vast selection of sports, from football and basketball to tennis and baseball. Bet on your favorite teams and enjoy the thrill of the game. But that's not all. Our state-of-the-art online casino offers a dazzling array of games, including slots, blackjack, roulette, and live dealer tables. Win big with their fantastic promotions, rewards, and exclusive offers. Join VIPclub.lv today and get a generous 200% match welcome bonus to start your winning streak. And make sure to use code ECSI at sign-up. Bet it, win it, and cash it at VIPclub.lv. Visit VIPclub.lv now and play responsibly. VIPclub.lv, your sportsbook and casino extravaganza. Must be 21 or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Visit gambleware.org for help.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report for Wednesday, August 30th, 2023. That time of week, me and Andrew will come down and cross the borders, and as we will break down some CFL for the weekend, Labor Day weekend. Shout out to our new sponsor, VIPclub.lv. Always use the promo code ECSI at checkout. Tell them JD sent you. They'll take good care of you. Just FYI, kind of in a transition. I haven't been doing a lot of shows as we're maneuvering our studio to a new place. So you got to bear with us. I'm still here. The VIPs are still here. Anyone needs to get in touch with me, obviously you can DM me at EC Sports Invest. You can send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. You know where to find me. Been here for almost 9 full years, not going anywhere just yet. Super excited for the fall and what we have moving forward. To everyone getting ready for tomorrow, Utah versus Florida, got the message and alert a few minutes ago. Utah starting quarterback Cameron Rising is downgraded to doubtful, which is why they opened up at 10, went all the way down to 3.5, now back up to 6. I don't know if his backup will be ready. They could be at a third-string quarterback before kickoff. But we're here to talk with Andrew. We're here to talk some CFL. And let me see if I can just grab this 1 second here. Where is Andrew? Here he is. So without further ado, let's bring him on, the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis.
Good afternoon.
What is up? Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling good. I'm doing very well. I'm motivated and excited for some new seasons about to start, but also the season that we're in right now. It's kind of funny, Jeff. Pretty much this is the time of year people stop caring about MLB. And absolutely nobody is following the CFL anymore. And this is the hottest time I've been all year in both these sports. So while nobody's paying attention, we're picking up steam. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, people out there can decide. But I'm happy to be picking things up. And this is the weekend in the CFL. For everybody out there that's been following along with Jeff and I all year long, this is pretty much the weekend where CFL teams start thinking about the playoffs. Will they get home field advantage or not, and how they're going to finish. So it's also rivalry weekend in the CFL, which is always fun as well. So good to be back with you, Jeff, after a little bit of a hiatus, and that's on me. So good to be back in at home. And I just like doing shows at home more than on the road. So it's nice to be in my home studio.
Well, as you said, I was going to bring it up, a quick 4 or 5 day stint in Vegas, and then you come home for a couple of days, and then boom, a nice little country fest.
It is fun, and I'm blessed and privileged to do that. But I wish things were a little bit more spread apart. I got to see Morgan Wallen, who people are doing anything they can to get their hands on tickets for him. Keith Urban, and I got to see Thomas Rhett. So any country fans are obviously know those names, and obviously Vegas was a great time. It was hilarious for me seeing people excited about rain, seeing as I come from the far east coast of Canada where it rains every second day. I saw some local Vegas guys cheering when they saw it rain and things like that. But, I was at Circa, Stadium Swim, all the old things. But, one thing I will say, Jeff, it was my first time ever staying on Fremont. And that was a whole different experience. You're never shortage of entertainment. You can always people watch, that's for sure. I stayed at the D and just walked over to Circa all the time. But one thing, you'll laugh at this with me. Being my age, you wouldn't think I'd ever complain about this, but I was in Vegas for longer than I would have liked to have been, I think. And I wanted to get a good sleep before my flight the next day. And so here I am wishing I had earplugs or noise canceling headphones because all I heard was music nonstop all night long. I'm trying to sleep in my hotel room, and my hotel is literally on Fremont Street where pretty much the most noise goes on. So a great trip overall, but that was definitely something where I didn't really feel my age. I felt annoyed. I wanted to yell out the window to tell everybody to be quiet.
I love Fremont Street in regards to, it reminds me of my youth. It reminds me of spring break every day there. And as you said, you literally can go there and just people watch. And I took April there a couple times down to Fremont Street. I took my girls when they came out a few years ago. We did the lap there. And it's definitely a different side of Vegas, that's for sure.
I actually was only on the Strip one time, and I didn't even really walk around the Strip. It was just I went to dinner at Caesars. So that was kind of cool to stick in one spot for the most part. But, I've been there a handful of times now, Jeff, and I'll tell you what, with the fact that Encore Sports is in near you and there in Boston, I've never been there still. I've been there a couple of times and it just didn't work out. My buddy that actually lives in Boston, he's not really a big sports betting guy. All of us that come to visit him love to bet on sports, but why should I take 7 hours worth of a flight when I can either drive or take a, hour and 40-minute flight to go see, pretty much the similar thing. And it's the East Coast still. I love the city of Boston. There's just so many. I feel like Vegas and everyone else is noticing this as well. It's kind of losing that sports betting appeal that they once had. It's almost like that was like the hidden gem. They were the spot you could bet on sports. And it was like that place you go. But now there's sports books everywhere. And I'm sure you've noticed that as well.
The joy of me going to Vegas was walking to the window with my sheet in hand, calling out the rotation number, placing the wager, handing them cash, and holding on to the ticket. That was the joy. And then when you won, you walked back to the window and you cashed the ticket. You got your money back that you bet, and then whatever you wagered on the other side. Nowadays, people go to Vegas, and there's people as you walk into the sports books trying to sell you to download the app so you never get out of your seat. You just place every one of your wagers on the app.
Which I never do. I won't do the apps. I stayed at the Sahara, and I got the William Hill app there once because it was March Madness, and it was just too hard to run to the window anytime I wanted to place a bet because there were so many games going on. But I'm with you. Most people I talk to, even that I work with, unless they go to Vegas often, and they're like, for the most part, I'm just planning to bet at the window. Even if they have the app, they're still doing that. So it's real interesting like that. But there's no better feeling than walking back to the window and collecting the cash. And especially for me, I think this is actually, I feel like this is worth mentioning, not being from America. I don't have, it's a different currency in Canada. So I might as well operate in just the cash I brought with me And then when I go home, I just flip that into Canadian currency. I don't want to go on the app and then have, before I leave, go back to them, get it changed back into cash, get the bank transfer, whatever it might be. I'm there for 3 days. I want to look at some cold, hard American cash for a couple of days. And if it leaves me, it leaves me. If it comes back to me, it comes back to me.
100%. I agree with you. So next trip, head to Logan, and then you could take the express to the Encore. We'll go meet at Faneuil Hall, the North End, catch a game, and then we'll go do whatever at Encore. How's that?
I've got some buddies trying to convince me to go see Bills and Patriots, but I'm not sure I want to go see Bill Belichick or the Bills. But we'll see. I've told you before, I'm more interested in college football now because I haven't seen a game in person before, but we'll figure things out. You're going to see me in the next few months.
I think we'd have a better time going to watch BU play BC in hockey than go watch one of those games.
I'm in. A lot cheaper. And you got to come visit me too, Jeff.
We'll get that. Yep, that's in the works. September 2nd, first CFL game, BC at Montreal. An opening number of BC -3 with a 48. I'm seeing right now it's circa 3.5 and 47. I'll just say out loud, BC's been very good to us at ECSI and to you. I've also brought this up a lot, and I'll be interested to see your take. Montreal as a home dog has been very dangerous.
Very true. Montreal is a spot that one of the teams I would say is on the list in the CFL as a really good home team, and they do add points if you're making power ratings and things like that. But having said that, Montreal is owned by BC. BC's owner might as well own the Alouettes as well, Jeff. It's that bad. Historically, since I've been following the CFL, BC has done well against Montreal. I don't exactly love the fact that Montreal is coming off an ass whooping that they are. And there's no other words I can use to describe it. But what I have talked about multiple times about this Alouettes team is that they beat teams they should beat and they struggle when they step up in class. Every league has that team, and that team in the CFL is Montreal. They look impressive. And let's not forget, they brought back Cody Fajardo from injury, and he looked worse than Caleb Evans did. So do you want a banged up and 80, 75% Fajardo, or do you want 100% healthy Caleb Evans? That's another thing to look at. But BC has lost 3 of their last 4 games. Their defense has not looked the same. Vernon Adams Jr. is probably not fully healthy. He's just been strictly a pocket passer. And if that's the case, they should have Dane Evans in there. But I think that this is a game that they step up big time and win. And you've never heard me say this, Jeff, but I'm honestly tempted to look at BC -180 on the money line and just win the game for me. I know that sounds crazy, and we always talk about just protecting the bankrolls. There's several pieces across the board. UFC, college football, whatever it might be. You can find that parlay mixer if you want. I really like Cyril Gahn to win this weekend in the UFC. He's one of my favorite picks of the weekend. I was saying on Sports Grid last night, you can parlay those two things together and get +150. But this is one of those spots, Jeff, where I looked at it, and this doesn't happen to me very often. And I'm curious your thoughts. I said to myself, BC's not losing. I don't want to worry about the number. I don't want to worry about how many team total points they get. I don't think BC drops that game. And Montreal has been playing spoiler. But if you look at some of the games that BC has played in recently, it hasn't been as much their offense as it has been their defense. And I feel like Montreal's offensive line is not very strong. So if the pass rush can step up for BC, make life hell for Fajardo, because his offensive line wasn't good for him in Saskatchewan, and it's not been good to him in Montreal. So now you start to ask yourself, is it the offensive line or is it the fact this quarterback can't move? He's stuck in the mud. He won't leave the pocket to make plays. I think it's both. So I really like BC. I recommend people, do what you please, play it however you'd like. But I think BC bounces back in a big way here. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. This is a big contest for them.
I agree. I trust the opening number here, so I do like BC to win. Again, I'd probably buy the hook if I was going to use the spread and take it down to 3. Hope they win by 4 or more. It is 4 at Caesars, New Jersey. I was trying to get a feel for where the next move is, so we'll be keeping our eye on that one for sure. 9-3. Winnipeg at Saskatchewan, 7:00 start. Opening number, Winnipeg -8 with the 48. Down to 7 with a 47.5. So first quick move was to Saskatchewan and grabbing the points. I had said a few weeks ago Winnipeg was the best team in the CFL. I think since then they did lay an egg in a similar spot. What's your thoughts with them this week?
I agree with you still. I still think they are the best team because they make plays when it matters the most. Although Toronto, they put up points. Whenever they have success, they put up a lot of points. But here's the deal. This game, Jeff, is also known as the Banjo Bowl. And a lot of that is due to the fact that it's played in Saskatchewan mostly. And people say Saskatchewan is one of the most rural places in Canada. Not much to do there. They're playing their banjos. They're out there in the prairies, and there's not a whole lot going on besides football. You talked about Montreal having a home field advantage. Even though Winnipeg's been so good over the past few years, Saskatchewan is that team in the CFL in the West that has the home field advantage. I like getting points this weekend with Saskatchewan. Would I feel better if their starting QB was in? Yes. Would I feel better if their second string quarterback was in? Of course. But Dulagala is off his best performance, couple passing touchdowns, big numbers as far as passing through the air. Jamal Morrow played well on the ground. I think Saskatchewan can hang tough, but I do like the over in this game as well. I've really tried in the CFL this year not to bet side and total in the same game, Jeff. So I'm going to follow the market. This one's going to be a little bit of probably going to think about it, sleep on it tonight and see where I end up. But 33-31, Stampeders over the Rough Riders. We saw 31-13, 26-24, 41-12, and 34-29. This Rough Riders team used to be known as a team with great defense. They're giving up points to everybody they play. But you look at the Blue Bombers scores as well, they have been giving up points to people, or they had been in the start of the year, but now look, 17 against the Alouettes, 18 against the Stampeders, 14 against the Lions, and 14 against the Elks. Besides that little blemish they had against the Elks when they almost lost, Winnipeg has almost peaked at the best time. You called it 3 weeks ago. Whenever you said it, this is a team peaking at the right time. But I still think we could see points. I'm going to say, as of right now, my better bet on this game would be Saskatchewan. And I don't want to creep too far into the next game, but I think that the popular favorite this week is going to be Winnipeg. And then the next game, we kind of have a popular public dog that I'm going to go against.
9-4. Toronto at Hamilton. Opening number of Toronto -8 with a 51. At Circa still 8 with 50. So the only movement went from 51 to 50.
It is a big total, that's for sure. And I've talked about it. This Toronto team puts up points in bunches. Of course, anybody that knows their Canadian geography, these teams are only a 45-minute drive away from each other. This is teams that will get to know each other a lot over the next few weeks. I look at what Toronto's been able to do, especially when rested and especially when healthy. I simply do not think that Hamilton will be able to match up with them. Besides the little hiccup against the Calgary Stampeders that they had back on August 4th, this is what they've done as far as scoring. 39, 44, 31, 31, and 35. I simply don't see them slowing down. I think it would take a really strong defensive team that's not Hamilton to be able to slow down this offense of Toronto, and they'd have to trade points. A lot of people are going to react to how Hamilton played last week in that win over BC. If you're a what have you done for me lately kind of guy, Jeff, people are going to love Hamilton this week. They played their best game of football they've played all season long. And sometimes, just like in the MLB, you want to catch teams at the right time. But this is one of those opportunities where I just simply do not think Toronto can trade points with Hamilton. Lean to the under as well.
Or you take? Okay,
I'm taking the points with the favorite. I'm taking the points with the favorite. I think the Argos. This to me reminds me of the spot last week of Winnipeg over Montreal. Similar point spread. One team coming off a good performance, and they're going to come in a little bit confident, and it's going to be just two different weight classes. I can't speak, from a bookmaker's perspective, from what I've read and seen from some other some CFL guys. Hamilton seems to be a popular pick. I'm not going to let 1 week fool me. This is a team. I still have Hamilton being worse than the Edmonton Elks by the end of the season.
No banana in the tailpipe for you.
No.
Shout out to Connor McLaren. Nice to see you, Connor. Hope all is well in your world. Let me make sure I'm not going to... Last game here at 7 o'clock. Edmonton at Calgary, a 46.5 in Calgary -4. Up to 5 with a 46. Are you telling me that the Edmonton Elks can win 3 in a row? And they did stop the losing streak of 22 on Sunday. The Elks, can we buck the Elks this week?
I want to know what you think about this line. You're the numbers guy. You've been in the industry for longer than me. What do you think about this point spread? I think it's the weirdest and trickiest point spread on the board.
Well, they set it at 4 and wanted the market to take it. And the first instinct is Calgary at home. So it did go to 5 with a 46. Don't forget, Edmonton a couple weeks ago, bye week, new OC, a breath of fresh air, and then they went on the road, then they come back home and they break that streak. I mean, you talked about the public trendy dog, and I've been on Calgary for a while, and that we've cashed some tickets with Calgary, but just from the eye test and what's going on right now, you're supposed to play Edmonton in this game.
I agree. But something tells me that this is the game I've been overthinking it all week long, because everybody likes Edmonton this week now. I think it's like, what? I'm getting 5.5 points with the team that's just, a whole new team, Trey Ford, new OC. And sometimes the simple handicap is right. I think the over is the play here. I think that the most confident I am in an under this week, I would say, would probably be either the BC game or the Toronto game. This is my favorite over of the week, because you look at Calgary. How many games have they lost this year, Jeff, where they've scored 25 plus points? Jake Mayer has, not been great in some certain instances, but look back against the Red Blacks. To me, that game at the end of July was a real tough one for them to lose. Calgary put up 41 points and lost that game. And then looking at their game last week, another game I'm disappointed I missed, I was able to watch back. They put up 31 points and lost. If they put up 31 points this week, chances are they win. And if you look at the Edmonton Elks, their defense still didn't look great in the second half. I think that, remember when Dustin Crum was the talk of the CFL for a few weeks and he's cooled off? I'll be the first one to admit it. I was lucky to cash my over ticket last week with the Elks. They had a late touchdown drive from Dustin Crum and the Red Blacks. They weren't going to kick a field goal. I needed 3 points. They weren't going to go for a field goal. They were down. So I needed a touchdown. They got it done. But I truthfully think the best play in this one is to go over because Calgary's going to score. I don't know if they're going to win the game or not. Trey Ford is bringing a whole new element. They're healthy. Geno Lewis is playing well. The offensive line is protecting Trey Ford. Here's the deal. I mean, the CFL game, it was meant for mobile quarterbacks. It was meant for that. 8 of the 9 starting quarterbacks this year have been injured. If Trey Ford can keep himself healthy by running the ball and escaping the pocket, what he's doing is opening up the passing game like people can't even understand. Every single time he runs for 7 or 8 yards, he's keeping the defensive coordinator guessing, and then they throw for 40 yards. And in my opinion, even when they miss those long shots, and I haven't always thought about this in football, even when they miss those long balls, I think it's actually beneficial because they're throwing that element of surprise out there. So who doesn't love an over to end the week on Monday football? And I think it's great because I'll be the only one excited about this when people are going to realize, oh, well, it's not college, it's not NFL. We got CFL on Monday. So I'm excited about this one.
All right. So
it's a big game for Calgary, though, I'll tell you. If they can't put up a good performance against the Elks, there's going to be a lot of people asking questions. That will be that's why I want to stay away from the spread, Jeff. I really do, because I think the Elks will contribute, but I think we're going to see one of the best efforts we've seen from Calgary. I don't trust them defensively. They put up 31 last week against the Argos, but couldn't win that game. That tells us all we have to know.
We got 4 games in tow, and then next week we'll be circling back the wagons. And what we're going to try to do as well is maybe sprinkle in some NFL looks that you might have, maybe even a prop or two as we get ready and closer, obviously, to the NFL there. So, and as we're getting even closer to the frozen pond in hockey, which you and I have talked about, maybe we'll be doing a couple of different things throughout the NHL season. And 3 initials that you talked about starts with a K and an H and an L.
I'm looking forward to it. The KHL, there's so many different teams. There's a lot of betting trends. And you talk about leagues like the CFL that people aren't paying attention to right now. What I noticed going back to last year was that there were many teams in the KHL, the Continental Hockey League, that were dominantly under teams, dominantly over teams, and then there was the middle of the pack of, half overs, half unders. The adjustments weren't made there, Jeff, for those teams. I looked back. I've just been going through game sheets. 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. If they're giving us a 5.5 total with that team, I'm betting it constantly. Like, I'm going to be sending you all my KHL picks. You're quite often going to see a lot of the same teams be involved. I'm giving the same picks out that are involving these teams, riding the streaks, and that's what I'm planning on doing. Betting probably about 70% with these totals in the KHL. I'll pick my spots with sides, no doubt about it. But I'm looking forward to it. And that way I'm going to be like the fellas that do Korean baseball. I'm going to have plays going off at 12 o'clock Eastern time and 7 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be hockey all day long.
You're going to be waking up early in the morning talking about your KHL plays, and then you're going to be going to bed talking about your West Coast Anaheim Duck games. How's that?
This is what it's all about. I'm looking forward to it.
The scroll has been going the whole time. Anyone that's not following Andrew, shame on you. Please, please, please go on to Twitter at McInnis Picks. You can get all his work at Wager Talk and at Mayflower Sports. Go over to YouTube and you can go and subscribe. It's free there. Tell them what you got this weekend and moving forward to anyone that's interested in your Wager Talk plays.
Jeff, usually I talk about kind of the shorter term packages, the cheaper packages, but for anybody interested in the rest of my CFL season and anything I do in the NFL as well, of course, Jeff does awesome work in the NFL too. I'm offering a package $100 off of the original price of the NFL. taking it down to $4.99, but throwing in the rest of my CFL season plus playoffs, Grey Cup included. And for the NFL, that'll include win totals, props every week, sides, totals. And of course, you can reach out to me on Twitter with any questions. So $4.99, no coupon code needed at my page will get you all of my CFL action and all of my NFL action all the way until the Super Bowl. So that's my best package I have going right now. Pretty much you're buying the NFL, getting $100 off that, and you're getting the CFL season for free.
Can't beat that. And again, anyone new to our page here or what me and Andrew try to preach, long term, it's not what you did yesterday. It's not what you're doing today or tomorrow. Anyone can have a winning week. Anyone can have a winning month. It's what you need to do is to build up a little rapport, get to know each client. As we like to say at ECSI here, VIPs, you become family. You become part of our team, and you get to know people. For me here at ECSI, we basically, our first day on Twitter was January 1st, 2015. We're coming up 8 full years of public service. I have clients that have been with us since 15 and 16. So, there are some bumps, there are some bruises. That's why we tell everyone to buckle up. But again, anyone can get hot. Hey, you go on Twitter today and tomorrow you're going to see someone that just went 8-0 over the weekend. Now they're selling picks for $1,000. So be careful where you spend your money. Go find Andrew, go find myself, and everyone have a great day. We will be back tomorrow is Thursday. I will be on Sports Map from 8 to 10. I'll tip our hand 9:45 p.m. Mr. Andrew McInnis will be wrapping us up. He will be our closer on Sports Map there. So for everyone, from myself at EC Sports Invest and Andrew at McInnis Picks, please everyone have a great day. Cash some tickets. Go find Andrew at Wager Talk, and we'll see you soon.